Once all the grades are in and they've been released to students, you can then export the grades to Universe. Now that happens in this panel here in the Student Success app. And I've assembled 3 different examples here. We're going to take them in reverse order. So we can see that this one is made up of one assignment, so a 1-to-1 mapping. So as soon as I'm ready, I go ahead and click Export Grades. And this brings out the grade export side panel that gives you all of the information about what will actually be exported to Universe. So here I can see this is the assignment title and these are the grades. This is only a single assignment mapped to this assessment item, so it is just one column of grades. Then I've got the option over here either to send the grade if there is one, and then I have a couple of options to override as well. So if I needed to exclude the student completely from the export, I could click this one. That could be used, for example, in the case of a research student where the student's grades need to go back to a different course code. The other option I have is to change, override the grade, or it would be more likely if there is no grade to actually officially send back not submitted to Universe rather than no grade. Now, you're probably used to this being AB or absent. Not submitted is exactly the same as that. So it says not submitted in our user interface, but the actual code that will go into Universe is AB. So not submitted is AB or absent. So that's a very simple version. I go ahead and click export here. And then that grade job is now in progress. So it's not an instant thing. Obviously that job is now happening. The communication with Universe is happening. As soon as that is complete, you'll get a timestamp that it was completed, or if there were errors, you'll be able to click on this and see exactly what errors occurred. Each student's grades are attempted separately. So one student or some students within the group's grades failing will not make the entire export fail. And you'll be able to see details of that. For example, if we click on here, we can see you'll always get a summary of the grades that were exported and the specific value, and you'll get a list of the ones that were not exported. And if there were errors, you would also get an additional section for export failures, and then the error that we received from Universe for exactly why that student's grade failed. So that's the first example. Next, I'm going to look at another example. This one is actually a one-to-many mapping. So 4 sets of quiz grades with an equal 25% weighting, creating one calculated grade to be sent back. So if we click export grades again, you'll see that obviously this time we've got 4 columns. And then this is the final calculated grade that will be sent back. This one, you'll notice we have some additional information. This is telling us for this particular student, she doesn't have a grade for either of these 2 quizzes. Now, this is where the export grade panel is actually about giving you as an educator the information that you need in order to make the decision. Do we send back a grade or do we send back something else? So, for example, it could be that you have a policy that you could only get a grade if you've completed all 4 quizzes and everything else would be considered not submitted. Alternatively, if you wanted to give this student credit for these grades, then you could click on these grade now options. And instead of a blank grade, we could give her 0 and do the same again. So, and say yes, please. And now if we try to export again, we'll see now instead of not having grade, there's actually the option to give her the grades with that weighting, with these ones calculated as 0. So once I'm happy with the grades that are going to be exported here, I can go ahead and click export. And again, this grade export job is now also in progress. And finally, we're going to look at this one, which is a final project, I believe is a hand-in assignment. And this one is slightly different. You'll notice that the grade type is pass-fail rather than percentage, so it's not a numerical value. And here's some other examples of some of the additional information that we provide in the export grade panel to give you the information that you need to make these decisions about what should be passed back. So for example, these 3 students have not submitted their final project. So by default, if it's not submitted here, we'll say do not export. But it could be that obviously if there is no final project and you're not expecting a final project and you're looking to send specifically that information back to Universe, then you could change all of these to not submitted, and that is what will go back to Universe. This one, for example, could be that Michelle currently has an extension, or there is an expectation that the final project will be coming, in which case it can be left as do not export until there is a grade, and then you can just repeat the export once there is a grade in here. Again, the late submission label gives you that extra information. It could be that they have a grade, but knowing here up front that it was submitted late, there could be some policy actually that late submissions get a not submitted, or it could be that they get a 0. If they should get a 0, obviously that should happen in hand-in in the tool where the actual submission happened. But as it is right now, I'm happy with these. I'm going to leave this one out, and the rest are all going to get exported exactly like this. Okay, and now you can see I've got 3 grade export jobs happening. They should take up to about maximum of about 10 minutes, but obviously it depends on how many jobs we have concurrently, on your connection speed, etc.